In today's video I'm going to show you a step-by-step tutorial how to make your own glass aquarium. And this is what you need for this build. Obviously, aquarium safe silicone. I use clear silicone, a silicone gun, knives, masking tape, a pen to write on the glass, a glass cutter if you're going to cut glass by yourself, sandpaper to polish the glass. I'm using a rough and fine sandpaper, and a knife blades to scrape the silicone from the glass. And of course you also need some glass to make your aquarium, and the easiest way to get your glass is to find your local glazing shop and order from them, because the cutting glass by yourself requires some skills, and you basically don't need to do it because many glazing shops do it for free these days, unless you have some glass laying around your household. And of course before you order the glass you need to calculate the size of the pieces, and I'm gonna flash the formula on your screen how to do that. For one aquarium you need 5 pieces of the glass, so our first step is to buy the glass. Let's do it. Okay, thank you so much. Cheers. Cheers. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay, we have our glass, and it's quite sharp because it's just a rough cut and it's unpolished. So first thing first, we need to do some polishing, and I have some sandpaper here, and this sandpaper is more rough and this is more fine because it's 80 P80 and this is P120. So we do first with the rough sandpaper, and then we polish with the more fine sandpaper, just to create more better finish. I think I have a little bit too much sandpaper. So what I do first is I dip my sandpaper into the water, make it wet, because it makes the job easier to polish the glass when the sandpaper is wet. And when you do that, make sure you're wearing the gloves so you don't cut your fingers. Now it's done and the glass is safe now, so you won't be able to cut your fingers with this. It's not as good as professional polishing, but it's going to be good enough for me. And now guys, I'm going to show you how to cut the glass in case you have some glass laying around doing nothing and you want to use it. And first thing, of course, you need your glass cutter. Remember that the best glass cutter is from Japan, so make sure you find one. Japanese one is going to be the best one. So the most of the glass cutter, they have a little slot where you can fill the lubricate. And it's very important to put some lubricant inside, because, well, I normally use WD-40 for that. If you don't have a special slot for lubricating, you just simply can put some WD-40 in the cup or something like this, and before you do the cut, just dip your glass cutter into that liquid. Is lubricate your wheel and is make your job much easier. Okay, let me demonstrate how to cut the glass. So let's say we need 5-inch piece, so all we need to do is just to mark 5-inch from the edge, and make sure this is 90 degrees. Then you want to use the straight edge. I just have a plywood which is cut straight here. And quick tip, if you don't want this straight edge to be sliding on your glass very easy, just put some silicone on the back and this make you a good grip. And before you do your cut, just put your glass cutter against the edge and make sure your wheel is on the mark. So that means that your straight edge probably going to be slightly away from the mark because your wheel is slightly away from the edge. And then you put the glass cutter at the edge of the glass, you apply firm pressure, and then you slide it from top to bottom like this. And then you put the glass against the edge of the table and you apply the pressure and you cut it like this. So I'm going to show you another way how to cut it. Let's say we need to cut this glass, but we need only cut like 8 inches. You see, this is this glass slightly more than 8 inches, and you only need to cut slightly little piece. When you cut a little piece, you cannot do it like this way because it's very tricky. So I'm going to show you another way how to cut the glass. So now we mark 8-inch. Just put 1 dot at the top and 1 dot at the bottom. That's enough. Put your straight edge slightly away from the marks. Don't forget to dip your glass cutter into the lubricate. Hold it like this, and again, just cut it. And this time you hold it like this with the fingers, and then you apply the pressure like this. So you cut a little piece of the glass. So this is another way how to do it. Before we glue our glass with silicone and assemble our aquarium, we need to protect our glass with masking tape, because the better we protect, the less cleaning we're going to do later. And before we protect our glass with masking tape, we need to mark our glass so we don't do mistakes. So this is the side glass. I'm going to mark it as a side glass, side, and I'm going to also mark where the top and bottom, because this glass look almost square to me. And what we need to do is just to make sure we know where's the top and bottom, because it's slightly different size. I know the height of the glass should be 35.5, so that means this is the top. So I mark this as a top, put the arrow, so when I assemble the tire, I know this is the side and this is the top. Okay, you have two glasses, the front and the back. Make sure you choose the best one for the front, because sometime maybe when you sand the glass you might scratch it accidentally, or you have a little imperfections. Better to use the best glass for the front, because this is the glass you're gonna see every day. So, and this is gonna be a front, and of course it's gonna be a top here. And the last glass is the bottom. Okay, now it's time to protect the glass with masking tape, and I'm gonna start with the bottom glass. And because the rest of the glass is going to sit on the bottom glass like this, so we have to allow the space for the glass and for the silicone line. Then we cut it with a knife, 7 mm from the edge as well. I'm making this by eye because I made a lot of aquariums in the past, and you do it all the way around. Okay, this is how you want to protect the bottom glass. Thickness of the glass plus 3 mm for the silicone. Now we need to protect front and bottom. The front and bottom gonna sit on this glass like this. And at the bottom we just need to leave a line for the silicone. And for the sides we need to leave a gap for the thickness of the glass plus silicone line. So in our case it's 7 mm. So this is the bottom, so we only need to make just a thin line for silicone. Also going to protect the other side, the bottom part, because when we put the glass on top of the silicone will leak through the edge. So that would be an extra protection, so I can do less cleaning at the end. And here I just put the masking tape in line with the glass. And I'm also going to protect the top part of the glass. The reason for that is when I'm going to assemble the tank, I'm going to take the glass like this, and my hand's going to be covered with silicone, so that's why I want to protect this part, so I do less cleaning at the end. I also decided to protect the glass all the way around in another side. The more time you're spending masking the glass, the less cleaning you're going to do at the end. And believe me, the cleaning silicone from the glass is not an easy job, yeah. So it's better to protect this well, and at the end you're going to be happy. Let's quickly do the back. It's exactly the same as the front. Now let's mask the side glass, and when you do that you only leave a line for silicone all the way around except the top. And the same as the back and the front glass, I'm going to protect the other side of the glass as well. So I'm going to quickly show you how we're going to put together our aquarium. We're going to apply silicone on the bottom glass, then we're going to apply silicone on the back, on the side of the black glass and on the side of the front glass, and then we glue together everything. So we put the back glass on top of the bottom, and then we put the side on top of the bottom and glue it together like this. And once they glue together, there should be hold, and then we're going to put another side, and then we put the back. So we only apply silicone on the bottom glass and on the back and the front glass. So we're going to do it now. So guys, when you're applying the silicone, try to do it as fast as possible, because the silicone starts to dry quite fast. We do it first at the bottom, nice and steady line. Make sure you do enough silicone. So this is how much silicone you want to apply. So bottom done, let's do the back. and we take one back. So you hold back at the one hand. It's better like this. So put it on top of the silicone. Make sure your silicone is just below the glass. Make sure it's in line. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about. Yeah, my fingers already covered with silicone, and I'm taking the glass, and I don't worry too much about marking the glass. So put it on top of silicone, and then slide it to the glass, so these corners here is touching each other as well. Make sure it's everything in line. And you see, I don't hold it already, it's hold itself. So this is it's a good thing, yeah? Now you make sure it's everything in line at the bottom of the glass and on the side here. So now the glass is in line. I'm gonna put another side. You see, don't forget to take your paper towels and wipe your fingers all the time, because you're gonna have a loss of silicone on your hands. Now I need to be a little bit hurry because the silicone might dry quickly. So I put it on top of silicone, slightly away from this glass, and then I push it to that glass. So push it to this silicone. So make sure your silicone is between the glass. It's very important. And you should see here the silicone start to coming from the edge, which is good. So make sure the corners is flush, everything in line. Look perfect to me. And now it's time to put the front glass. The front glass, you just do it in an angle like this, then put it on top of silicone, and then push it against another glass. Okay, so make sure everything in line. Then push everything together like this. Once everything in line, all the glass in line, everything square. This glass cut by professional, so it's absolutely square, and that's make your job is easier and look neater. We need to wipe silicone with the finger, and before doing that I want to put some masking tape to prevent the glass from movement, just on the corners like this. It will hold the glass together. Okay, now use your finger and then wipe everywhere inside. There should be plenty of silicone in the corners, so you don't need to add any extra. Okay, I feel like I need a little bit more silicone in this corner. Okay guys, here you go. We just finished gluing the glass all together, and I'll just quickly show you how it's look inside. So we wipe all the silicone with the finger like this, and you can see the silicone start to coming through that gaps, and this is why we're protecting here. So now the glass is not marking with silicone. It's going to be easier to clean. Also, it's going to be easier to clean because once we touch the glass here with the fingers, we not mark the glass because it's all protected. The same on this side, you can see it. If the glass cut nicely and square, it shouldn't be any problems to line it up. If it's cut off square and not straight, it's going to be very difficult to do that. So make sure everything in line, and if everything is pushed together, so make sure the glass is pushed together. So this is the dry method. That means once we've done this, we have to wait until it's dry, and once it's dry we come back and cut everything with a knife and remove the silicone. This is called the dry method. To be honest, I never tried it before. This is my first time, so we're going to see how it works. And in a second I'm going to show you another method which is called wet method. The wet method is basically the same, but what you need to do is you're removing the masking tape before the silicone dries, and roughly about in 24 hours, once the silicone dry, next day I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna cut this silicone here in line with the masking tape, and I'm gonna remove all the masking tape. Okay, it's next day now. Now it's time to cut the silicone. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut the silicone on the edge of the masking tape all the way around of the tank. So I'll give you a little sample here. Yeah, looking good now. So what we need to do now is just, we have a little bit silicone left in some places, and now all we need to do is to cut this remaining silicone. And now I'm gonna show you a slightly different method of making aquarium, when I remove masking tape straight after I apply silicone before silicone dry out. Okay, now we can peel off the masking tape. Do it slowly and try to hold the glass as well. This masking tape is quite sticky. Yeah, I can see the glass already moving a little bit at the bottom. You don't want to do that. Yeah, it's quite strong masking tape. Better to use a low tack masking tape for this, so when you peel it off, it's not making too much force on the glass and move it. So it's slightly moving now, but you can just put it back. It's still okay, still wet. The silicone's still wet. You can adjust slightly everything. All the time make sure it's everything in line. Okay, let me show you quickly what have been done. So you can see some of the silicone is start to leaking through the glass, which is normal, and is a little bit on another side. So we need to do a lot of cleaning. You can see that silicone on the glass everywhere. No matter how well protected your glass, you still need to do a lot of cleaning. You can protect another side of the glass as well, because you see it's leaking through the gap. So that's it. Now we need to wait until it's dry. Normally I wait 24 hours. And then we're going to do a good cleaning, so we'll see you in 24 hours. Not too bad, we still have some silicone here, which we need to remove now. Most of the silicone is on another side of the glass, on outside of the tank. I normally use the knife blades to clean it, and they're new and sharp. So what we need to do is to use that blade to scrape off this remaining silicone. So all the silicone, like on the glass, you have to scrape it off like this. I'd like to keep the silicone line quite thin in my aquarium, especially the front glass. And sometimes the silicone line is quite thick and look messy, and you're going to look at this tank every day and you don't want to see a thick silicone line, so I'm going to show you how to sort it out. So you just need to cut it with a knife first. Like this. Then you need to shave it like this. You see, and it's come off very easy. Yeah, much better now. Another quick tip when you clean the glass from silicone, try to use isopropyl alcohol. It does the job much better than the ordinary glass washing liquid. Okay, our aquarium looking very good. Very nice and neat silicone line around, which I'm very happy about. And now it's time to do the water test. Oh, bollocks. Okay guys, we just finished our aquariums and they're looking great. Absolutely happy with the result. We just use two slightly different methods, a wet and dry method, and I personally prefer a wet method when you remove masking tape before silicone dries. It's simply because it's very difficult to cut the silicone around masking tape once it's dry, and it's a little bit time consuming. It's a little bit quicker to do it with wet methods. I personally recommend to try this method first. And you might have a question, what thickness of the glass is better to use for making aquarium? And the simple answer is that if your aquarium is less than 20 gallon, less than 70 liters, it's okay to use 4mm glass. And 4mm glass is very common, is mostly used for making windows, and it's very cheap and affordable. And if your tank is more than 20 gallon volume or more than 70 liters, so you're probably better to use 6mm glass. It's going to be more safer. And also some glazing shop can offer you professional edge polishing of the glass, and that would be of course look better this way, but it might cost quite a lot and can double the price of the glass. I do it sometimes as well, but I only do front glass of the aquarium because it saves a lot of money, and at the end of the day you're only going to see the front glass and you're not going to see much of the back and sides. Guys, and here's an example for you. In my shrimp rack I made my tanks from 4mm glass, and I asked the glazing shop to make me a nice polishing on the front glass. As you can see, the front glass has a nice polishing edge, but the side glass and the back glass has just a rough polishing with the hand and sandpaper. So it looks much better this way, but honestly I don't mind to have it normal, because once I close the lid at the top I don't see the edge of the glass, so it's absolutely fine. Next time I do the rack, it's absolutely fine to have just a hand polishing glass all the way around. And guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, and hopefully see you in the next one.